Hi, this is Ginger, and I wanted to talk with you for a few minutes today about an industry that is the fastest growing industry in the world. In fact, it's the second largest industry in the world, second only to illegal drug trade, and it's tied for second place with illegal arms dealing, and that is human trafficking. In my last blog, I invited Elizabeth Corey, who is a sex trafficking and sexual abuse survivor, to tell you about her story. I was shocked to learn a lot of the things that Elizabeth had to go through, and invite you to read that blog if you haven't had a chance to read that. But Elizabeth is one of millions of people who are trafficked. In fact, there are 1.2 children trafficked globally each year. Now, I used to think that trafficking was something that just happened overseas. I had no idea that it was such a rampant, fast-growing industry. In fact, 83% of human trafficking victims are United States citizens. Here in this country, 83% of the victims are citizens of our own country. I want to make a difference or explain the difference between trafficking and smuggling. Basically, trafficking involves crimes against a person, and smuggling involves crimes against a country's border. So somebody can be trafficked and smuggled at the same time if they're moved over, across a border, but they are not the same thing. There also are basically two types of human trafficking. The first is labor trafficking, which involves basically putting somebody into servitude. So, for example, let's say that someone hires an au pair, from another country to come over and watch their kids. Well, and they promise that au pair that we're going to send you to school and do all these things for you. When in fact, when the au pair arrives, they realize, oh, guess what? We're not sending you to school, and you're going to work 20 hours a day, and you're not allowed to go out of the house, and you're going to clean and cook and do all these things for us. And in fact, sometimes that translates also into sexual services. So, which leads into the second type of trafficking, which is human sex trafficking. And the average age for females to enter the sex trafficking trade is only 12 to 14 years of age. And for boys, the research is a little sketchy because a lot of boys don't come forward and talk about their trafficking experiences. But I've read, numbers anywhere from 13 to 15 years of age can be average ages of entry. Something else that was kind of shocking to me to find out is that 1 in 3 runaways will be trafficked within 4 to 48 hours of running away. That's 1 in 3. And if those runaways don't return home or aren't able to find help or find resources that are legitimate, those numbers go up the longer that they try to stay on their own or stay on the streets. There also are 4 key players in trafficking circles. The first player is the recruiter. In Elizabeth's case, the recruiter was her father. Now, recruiters can be family members, they can be friends, they can be high school classmates, they can be total strangers that somebody meets on the street that offers to buy them dinner and give them a place to stay for the night. So recruiters can be, and their ages vary, they can be all over the place. So that the second player in the trafficking ring is the trafficker. And in Elizabeth's case, for example, the trafficker and the recruiter were the same, was her father. But the trafficker is basically the person who controls the victim. This is the person who schedules the person's visits with consumers, that kind of thing. So, and this person is the one who controls the purse strings as well. The third person is the victim, and the person who's actually being trafficked. And the fourth one is the consumer, the person who is buying sex. Again, all money going to the trafficker, and there are all kinds of ways that victims become victims through coercion. They're not necessarily runaways. Like in Elizabeth's case, it was her family that basically got her into that way of life. In some cases, victims are trying to pay off a debt of some kind, and they're coerced into being trafficked. So there's all kinds of things. Anyway, in future blogs, we're going to address more about that, just because I think it's really important for each of us to understand how rampant a problem this is and how widespread it is. And it is happening in every community across the country. I promise you it's happening here in Indianapolis. In fact, I know it is. And so hopefully I'd like to get some people to do some guest blogs. And also I have a lot of information from the Indiana Attorney General's office. They were kind enough to share, so I'll be sharing some of that information with you as well. So if you have any specific questions about the trafficking issue, I invite you to send those to me. I'll do my best to research that and get that information out to you. You can email me at ginger@gingercadlick.com, or you can go to my website and just leave a comment and I'll get back with you. And again, that's gingercadlick, it's KADLEC.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for your interest in learning more about this terrible crime against people. And hopefully working together, we will be able to improve the world one child at a time. Thank you.